Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This is our 17th lecture of Classical Mechanics 2. Here we will see the relativity of time and how the time is dilated under the theory of relativity. We should know the postulates of special relativity theory, which was put forward by Einstein in 1905. It has two postulates. Number one is the laws of physics are same for all frames of references which move with uniform velocity with respect to each other. And the second postulate is that the velocity of light is universal constant and it has value c equal to 3 multiplied by 10 raised to power 8 meters per second. Here c is representing the velocity of light. Time was assumed to be absolute in Newtonian mechanics, but it was Einstein who changed this concept and uh, he gave another concept that velocity of light is the parameter which is uh, assumed to be a universal constant rather than time. So time uh, can vary and it depends on the uh, relative motion of observers. The value of measurements of time of an event depends on the relative motion of observers. And since our measurements of time involve judgment about simultaneous events, we can see that time may also be affected by relative motion of observers. In fact, Einstein's theory shows that observers in relative motion will judge time differently. Furthermore, each is correct. Means if uh, one observer is moving, the other is stationary, and uh, event an event is taking place, and both the observers are observing the time of event, calculating the time of event, then the calculations of both observers um, will be different. And uh, we cannot say on these different results that one of the observers is correct, the other is false. So, due to relative motion, we can say that both the observers are correct in their calculations. Uh, to clarify this assumption, this concept that how both the observers may be said to be correct in their calculations, we are going to assume uh, uh, light which is initiating from this mirror 1 to this mirror 2, and this initiates from here and goes to mirror 2 and it reflects back and again strikes on the mirror 1. So imagine a light clock which consists of two mirrors and beam of light reflecting back and forth between the mirror. One tick is when the light goes from one mirror to the other and back again. This travel, this one, forth and back, forth and back. This will be taken as one tick, and the time for this one tick will be delta t naught, delta t naught. This is the time which is taken by the light while going from this ground mirror to its this upper one and then back to the ground mirror. So how this back and forth uh, motion of light is being observed by two different observers. One observer is stationary and is located in the same frame of reference in which light is uh, moving. Other is the other observer is moving in some other frame of reference which is having some relative motion. So for scenario one, we are going to uh, assume that observer is in the same frame of reference. Scenario one, we are in the same inertial frame as the light clock. So we are therefore measuring the proper time denoted delta t naught. So being in the same frame of reference, we have measured the time of travel of light to be equal to delta t naught. As this separation is said to be equal to d, the mirrors are separated by distance d. The light moves with velocity or speed c. Then time being delta t naught can be related to d and c in this way, as this is 1d, this is other t, so total time travel, so total displacement traveled by the light with velocity c is 2d. So 2d over d, this ratio will give the delta t naught, which is time of one tick. Time of one tick. It is also known as proper time, as the observer is stationary who is calculating this time. So this calculated time will be uh, reported by the stationary observer and it will be marked as proper time. Now for scenario 2, if the observer with the clock is moving in an inertial frame which is moving with velocity u meters per second in x direction. This is x direction. And the path of light takes is now different as it has only a finite speed. The time taken for one tick is denoted delta t. The observed time will be. Now the observer sees the light in this way. It is initiating from the ground mirror as this. It is striking the upper mirror at this point and then it is back to the ground mirror in this way. This is the displacement traveled by the observer in the same time when light was initiating and terminating at this point. Initiating from this point and terminating at this point. So this is the displacement traveled by the observer with speed v. Speed u. And the time taken by the observer from this point to this point is delta t. The time taken by light from this point to this and again back to this point is also delta t. Now this is the displacement between two mirrors as we have seen in our previous assumption scenario 1. Now again it is d. If this is d, then taking this side as L, this will also be side L. Then if from this point to this point the displacement is u, then this much displacement will be equal to u by 2. So the right angle triangle can be seen through Pythagorean theorem, as this hypotenuse will be equal to this side plus square of length of this side plus square of length of this side, and its under root will be equal to this hypotenuse of the triangle. On this basis, we say by Pythagorean theorem, L will be equal to d square plus u delta t. U delta t is the displacement from this point to this point, u delta t. This is displacement u delta t. And half of this displacement, u delta t by 2, and its square will be square of this displacement. So for this triangle, L will be equal to d square plus u delta t by 2 whole square under root. And from here, we can say that delta t is equal to 2L over C. This L plus this L, this is the displacement traveled by the, this is the total distance traveled by the light in time delta t. So L plus L, 2L divided by velocity of light will give the total time. Or we can say that C delta t is equal to 2L. C delta t is equal to 2L, or we can say that L is equal to C delta t by 2. Now, delta t is equal to 2 by C into d square plus u delta t by 2 whole square under root this equation. Here we can see that delta t can be expressed as 2 over c into d square plus u delta t by 2 raised to power 2 under root. Actually, uh, we have placed the value of L in this expression. L is equal to this, delta t will be equal to 2 over c into this much value of L. So from this expression, d is equal to delta t naught c by 2, c delta t naught by 2. So by placing this value of d in this expression, we can have this new form of this expression, and delta t will be equal to 2 over c under root c delta t naught over 2 raised to power 2 plus u delta t over 2 raised to power 2 as it is uh, under root. Now delta t square will become equal to this. Here under root will be uh, vanished, and 4 over c square will be this factor. Delta t square will become equal to delta t naught square plus u square delta t square over c square. This 4 will be cancelled with this 4, and uh, c will be cancelled with this c. This c will be uh, persisting over here in this term. Delta t square minus u square delta t square by c square will become equal to delta t naught square. This term is uh, taken onto other side of the equation. Now delta t square taking common, 1 minus u square over c square uh, will be a factor on this side, and this will be equal to delta t naught square, and Further, delta t square will be equal to delta t naught square over 1 minus u square over c square, and by taking under root on both sides of the equation, delta t will become equal to delta t naught over 1 minus u square over c square under root. This uh, this delta t is marking the uh, time calculated by the observer moving with speed u. This is the relative time measured by the observer in relative motion, and this is the proper time. So under this equation, we can say that it is the representation of Einstein's uh, time dilation equation, and here this factor 1 minus u square over c square or v square over c square. Here v is the relative speed. Uh, this whole factor is marked as Lorentz factor. 1 minus v square over c square is representing the Lorentz factor. Here delta t is relative time, delta t naught is proper time, p is relative speed, and c is speed of light, which is universal constant. That's it. Here it is the pictorial representation of the observers. The observer uh, calculating the proper time is sitting within the same frame of reference, and the observer calculating the relative time is uh, in relative motion uh, compared to with respect to this whole setup. That's Thank you.